CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The wait is over. After years of construction, the barriers finally came down today, opening a new border crossing built to change how people and products move between Windsor and Detroit. CTV's Travis Fortnum was there when the first vehicle crossed the historic Gordie Howe International Bridge.
Before the Gordie Howe International Bridge opened to traffic, one car made a quiet, symbolic drive across.
It's an honor to have been the first to cross.
Inside were Gordie Howe, the grandson of Mr. Hockey, and his wife, Margaret, making the ceremonial first crossing around 10 to 10 Monday morning.
It feels like personally a memory that we will treasure, both of us, something that we'll be able to share with people, and feels like an honor to be a part of this.
The bridge was named for his grandfather in 2015. The Canadian-born Detroit Red Wings legend remembered as much for bringing Canadians and Americans together as he was for putting pucks in the net. Not far behind the Howes, the first official commercial truck, with Jim Pereira at the wheel.
To be able to just get it done was just an emotional release. And then it all hit while I was actually on the bridge.
Pereira once crossed the Ambassador Bridge as many as 7 times in a single day. He says the new direct route between Highway 401 and Interstate 75 should make the trip a whole lot simpler. The public started crossing shortly before noon, ending decades of planning and years of construction. Staff like Heather Grondin, who's been with the project since 2005, now seeing their hard work pay off.
I haven't started to cry yet today, but I'm sure it's going to come at some point.
Grondin calls it relief, joy, and a very long time coming. Now everyone else can see what all the fuss is about. The 6-lane crossing has a speed limit of 60 kilometers an hour, and drivers are being reminded eyes on the road. Save the sightseeing for the passenger seat. The Howes say their first drive across was smooth, even if their car may have wanted a little more.
And we were driving a Dodge Charger, which could have gone much faster than we were able to drive on the bridge, but yeah, very smooth.
The drive takes travelers up a curving approach through the towers and over the Detroit River. The lead architect says the design was meant to deliver a little drama.
They should feel a moment of magic, I think. That's quite important.
Pedestrians and cyclists get their turn when the multi-use path opens August 5th. For the Howes, the first drive was less about bragging rights and more about the people who spent years getting the bridge to this point.
I think what has been the most special thing about today is like seeing the faces of the people who have worked on this project for upwards of 20 years.
A bridge bearing a family name, now carrying its first generation of travelers. Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
A 1925 Ford Model T also rolled across the span, offering a unique look at how far transportation has come. Here's CTV's Robert Lothian.
This historic ride will never be forgotten by Marvin Diot or his grandsons, Micah and Camden.
Is it what you expected? Yeah.
Or even myself.
I just thought it was cooler to, whenever the bridge opened, to be able to take my dad's car with the grandkids across the bridge and back.
In the first hour of the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge, decades-old rubber hit brand new road. Diot driving his family's more than century-old vehicle over the new crossing.
I want the memory for them and me on the opening day.
Talk of this monumental trip has been years in the making.
We've been hearing about it for 2-3 years at least, and we've been pretty excited for it.
And the plans had his grandsons thinking,
an old car would be nice to go be one of the first people to go across the bridge so we can have that memory for years.
The Ford Model T was one of the first affordable automobiles to hit the American market. This one, built in Michigan, has been around longer than any Windsor-Detroit border crossing.
Now, with me having it, I'm keeping Dad's life alive and memory alive, or whatever. It's all very, very good for me.
And even as we travel up the bridge, friendly honking is no surprise.
They must think it's a beautiful car and that it's obviously really old, so.
And you was talking about honking, there was another one just there.
And even after a little car trouble, this trip, even if brief, was a piece of history to never forget. For Marvin, his grandsons, and even me.
What were your thoughts?
Oh, I guess my word's always fantastic. It's absolutely great. It's I'll have smiles for days just for doing it.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
And today we also have a special feature on how we got to this day. Would you believe it's taken nearly 30 years for the Gordie Howe Bridge to go from being an idea to a reality? Our Michelle Molesky has produced an in-depth feature on the history of the bridge, detailing all of the steps along the way, the controversies, the victories, and the effort that went into building a second bridge in Windsor, Detroit. Simply click on Gordie Howe Bridge at the top of our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca, and then click the article titled "A Quarter Century in the Making." In other news, one person is dead, another injured following a two-vehicle crash in Chatham, Kent. Police say the crash happened early Sunday morning on Queen's Line between Bloomfield Road and Dillon Road. The drivers, a 46-year-old Tilbury man and a 57-year-old Chatham man, were sent to hospital with injuries. Police say the 57-year-old was airlifted to a London hospital where he later died. Anyone who witnessed the crash is being asked to contact police. Another person tonight is dead after a single vehicle crash in Lakeshore early Saturday morning. OPP say the crash happened just before 4 a.m. on West Bell River Road near County Road 42. The driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators are asking anyone who saw the vehicle before the crash or has dash cam or surveillance video to contact Essex County OPP. A 16-year-old is facing multiple charges after police say shots were fired at a home in South Windsor. Officers were called to Sagebrush Street last Thursday night when they say several rounds struck the front window and a basement wall. Several children were inside the home, but no one was hurt. Police say the shots were fired from a stolen black Cadillac SUV, which was later recovered with ammunition inside. The teen suspect was arrested on Saturday and is also facing drug-related charges after police seized suspected crystal methamphetamine. And a 15-year-old boy is facing several weapons-related charges after allegedly pointing a gun at a 13-year-old. Police say the victim went into a home in South Windsor at 8 p.m. on Saturday to get money they were owed from a previous exchange. He was allegedly confronted by the suspect, who officers said pointed a gun at him, saying his friend no longer owed him money. The victim eventually was able to leave and called police. The suspect was quickly identified. Police made several attempts to find and arrest him. He later turned himself in. After 350 days on the picket line, the lockout at Titan Tool and Die has ended. A severance agreement has been reached for the company's unionized workers. Unifor Local 195 President Emil Nabout says workers will receive the severance pay they are entitled to. The company has no plans to resume operations, an outcome Nabout says is not what the union had hoped for. 27 employees were considered active workers when the lockout began. More than 30 others had previously been laid off and will also receive severance. Nabout says about 60% of the affected workers have since found new jobs.
Throughout this labor dispute, our local union have an action center where we updated people's resume. We have a contact with many employers in the city of Windsor, and we have already identified a number of the job for our member, thanks to many of the employers in the city of Windsor who make a priority to hire our member from Titan Tool.
And according to Unifor Local 444, a tentative agreement has been reached between Nexstar Energy and the union representing its 800 workers. Details of the agreement will be released at a later time. Windsor's Ward 6 is now up for grabs in this fall's municipal election after a surprising announcement today.
That I will not be standing for re-election. Hello, finally, after 23 years.
Even desk mate Angelo Marignani is surprised by the news that Geniac is not running in the October 26th election. Council gave Gignac a standing ovation for her many years of service. She was first elected to council back in 2003. Since then, she has sat on numerous city committees and has been a long-standing member of the Windsor Police Services Board. Gignac said she wanted to make her intentions known now, hoping it will lure new politicians to enter the race.
I am hoping by doing so that encourages a broad number of people out in Ward 6, which is an incredible ward, to step forward and consider sitting in one of these chairs.
Brett Michaels, previously named to headline this weekend's Hog for Hospice event in Leamington, is no longer able to perform. In a post on social media, Hogs for Hospice says it is due to an unforeseen medical emergency and that Michaels will be taking a 3 to 4 week break. Hogs for Hospice says it will honor any refund requests through the Eventbrite page, but an exciting announcement will be made by Tuesday with the new headliner. CTV meteorologist Julie Atchison has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. And overnight gunfire is still ahead. Suspected hate crimes under investigation in Toronto. Julie joins us now. And Julie, we have seen activity tonight across Essex County.
Yeah, there has been a few showers and thunderstorms that have been ramping up in advance of this front that's dropping through the area. So in advance of that front today, the temperatures climbing. We hit 30 degrees this afternoon and it felt close to 40. So lots of moisture to work with, some heavy downpours associated with some of these thunderstorms that have been rumbling through. Our low temperature 20. Now tricky in terms of how these storms develop and where they move through. So forecast models have been all over the map trying to track some of this storm action. As we head through the overnight, is still the chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms over the next few hours and through the overnight as well as this front continues to slump its way through. Now the main threats will be torrential rain. We could see some strong gusty winds as well. And then as we head into tomorrow morning, things will be quieting down and we're back down to about a 40% chance of showers. So overnight, we're going to hold at about 70 and then dropping tomorrow morning. The front comes through, the winds shift north, and that will usher in some drier air, which will mean lower humidity. Overnight, we'll dip down between 19 and 21 degrees. Winds fairly light overnight. Of course, if we get under a thunderstorm, those winds picking up quite quickly, but they don't stay sustained. You can see this forecast model indicating showers lingering in Essex as we push past at 2 a.m. And then tomorrow morning, we'll see some breaks. So this is interesting because it clears this out. However, there's still some spotty showers around. So I'm going to go with a mix of sun and cloud through the afternoon with about a 40% chance of showers. Conditions will trend to clear out as we head into your Wednesday and Thursday, and we have lots of sunshine in the forecast as we push towards the long holiday weekend. So first thing in the morning, about 22 degrees, the forecast high at 27. The winds will also pick up in the afternoon, 20 with gusts of 40. So I mentioned the humidity will be lower, so definitely not feeling like 40 tomorrow afternoon, but we'll still have a bit of humidity around. In Essex County, we rarely go too many days without humidity in the air. 26 as we head into your Wednesday with lots of sunshine and a beautiful day on the way. 28 degrees on Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud on Friday, and 29. It looks like we'll see a bit of cloud cover over the weekend. Daytime highs 26 to 28. Chance for showers, but likely the sun will have set and it'll be Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Back into a mix of sun and cloud for holiday Monday and heating up to 29. So still a few showers around tomorrow, but latest forecast models have been showing a fair amount of clearing taking hold. So it'll be one of those days where you head out and it'll be looking pretty good. But with that northerly flow, it will create some instability in the area. So the winds picking up in the afternoon, as I mentioned. But then we're into full sunshine Wednesday and Thursday and looking good as we head toward the holiday weekend. Stefanie, back to you.
2 Jewish-owned bakeries in Toronto were targeted over the weekend in suspected hate crimes. One was hit by gunfire. CTV's Beth McDonnell has more on the investigation and a pledge from police to increase their presence.
Shattered glass spills onto the sidewalk at Kiva's Bagel Bar, a Jewish-owned bakery at Yonge and St. Clair in Midtown Toronto, the result of overnight gunfire.
It happened at 1 in the morning. I heard 3 gunshots at 1 a.m. But having said that, I heard nothing after, no sirens, nothing. And then I wake up this morning and here's this whole thing with the police.
A second location at Steeles in Bathurst under the same name was also targeted. There, a front door window was broken. Both incidents are being investigated by police as possible hate-motivated crimes.
It feels very personal to me. I could have been in there, or anybody in this neighborhood. It could have been daytime as opposed to nighttime.
This is where we come for our food, and we feel threatened and unsafe.
When it comes to hate-motivated crimes, Toronto police data shows the Jewish community is the most targeted group. In 2025, anti-Jewish incidents represented more than 80% of religiously motivated hate crimes. It's a phenomenon the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs says is increasing because of terrorism and at times sponsored by the Republic of Iran. Last month, police reported dozens of shootings are being carried out in gun-for-hire schemes at synagogues, Jewish schools, and the U.S. consulate. The center believes there is a correlation between conflict in the Middle East and violence here.
Nothing can justify crimes being perpetrated against Canadians on Canadian soil.
Officers say the investigation is in the early stages and the Guns and Gangs unit is involved. The connection for now, the incidents happened at the same local chain. It's not clear which shop was targeted first, exactly when overnight or why, although public safety is a central focus.
We're going to be increasing our police presence to conduct the investigation for what happened here. And you can also expect an increased presence of police around those locations.
I've spoken with the owner of the building. They are incredibly upset about what happened. I mean, this really shakes the foundation of the community.
Some local residents are fed up.
It's infuriating. This has got to stop in this city, and it's only going to stop when our government starts to clamp down on what's going on.
Police are urging anyone with information or video to come forward. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
And police surrounded the U.S. consulate in Toronto this morning after gunfire rang out there. Police say officers heard gunshots and found a shell casing outside of the building. A white sedan was seen leaving the area, but there's no description of a suspect, and it's not clear if the consulate was the intended target. No injuries are reported. The building was hit by gunfire about 4 months ago, something RCMP called a national security incident. And Toronto police say they've solved 2 cold cases that go back decades. CTV's Heather Butts has more on the DNA technology that's used to find answers.
Sifting through the ruins of a demolition site in 1995, police knew then this decades-old murder would be challenging to solve. Forensics determined the victim was buried after suffering at least 6 blows to the head from a hammer-like weapon.
They couldn't even develop a DNA profile because of the decomposition. And now they don't just identify the DNA profile. They put it to a town in Scotland.
In 2022, it was selected as part of Project 31 using investigative genetic genealogy. The victim was identified as Mary McLeod Moffat, born in 1905 in Scotland and immigrated to Canada, likely murdered in approximately 1936.
We were able to obtain a segment of bone from her that actually was able to yield a perfect, nice, clean, fully robust DNA profile for her, and our team of amazing genealogists were able to wrap this up.
Police say the victim's husband, who died a decade before his wife's body was discovered, is believed to be responsible for her murder, putting a 90-year-old case to a close. The second cold case breakthrough, also very public and high-profile in nature, a 2004 crash along a major Ontario highway where police found a badly burned body in the passenger seat.
What's suspicious is the amount of damage on the car.
The cause of death was never determined. DNA analysis led police to many Cree communities, and after 2 decades of piecing together family connections, she was identified as Patsy Flora Lagarde.
When you speak to relatives of it, says she was actually very full of life and a very sort of energetic, happy person. So bringing this news to them was absolutely crushing.
An element of closure for 2 families decades later. Heather Butts, CTV News, Toronto.
And in Toronto, the TSX gained 199 points. In New York, the Dow added 263, the Nasdaq lost 44. The Canadian dollar is down 0.14 of a cent. Gold gained more than $6 and oil fell almost $7 a barrel. An intern from Canada has been arrested, accused of spying at NATO headquarters in Belgium. It's raising concerns about Canada's vetting process and whether there's been a breach. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
Belgian authorities have accused a Canadian female intern at NATO headquarters of being a spy. After her arrest, the woman's office and home was searched by police. Her computer data was downloaded. This arrest is prompting the Canadian government to investigate how she got her security clearance, which was vetted by CSIS and the RCMP.
As a country, we will continue to investigate the processes we have and the security screening. It is an ongoing work that we do, and in this particular case, I think it's important to get to the bottom of what happened.
The minister says whether the suspect worked for internal Canadian departments before she was hired at NATO is also being looked at. Belgium's federal prosecutor says the intern is of Chinese origin, a Canadian citizen suspected of spying for an unnamed third country and of being a member of a criminal organization.
The junior employee that is most prone to manipulation, exploitation, senior or leadership positions, they often have the protection 24/7. They have security agencies watching their back.
Analysts say young employees are vulnerable targets for hostile foreign powers playing the long game.
The juice is worth the squeeze, right? Because I mean, if they invest in this asset for a very long time to keep it under the radar, keep attention away from that person, and then that asset rises to deputy foreign minister or becomes head of the delegation or, is one of the political military affairs at shape. The amount of intelligence and what that asset can pay back after years of investment is really just unbelievable.
NATO says no sensitive information or operations were compromised at its headquarters. The Canadian woman makes her first appearance in court on Tuesday behind closed doors. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A new study finds 1 in 10 emergency room physicians is leaving due to burnout. The findings are part of a new study in the Canadian Medical Association Journal and based on a 2025 nationwide survey of hundreds of emergency medical doctors. Researchers say the leading theme of the survey is a broken healthcare system, which is pushing doctors to the brink. And Canadians are being urged to book a blood donation as the country's blood supply drops at an unusually fast pace. Canadian Blood Services says inventories have fallen about 20% over the past 6 weeks after thousands of fewer donation appointments than expected were booked each week. Officials say they want to rebuild supplies before shortages reach hospitals, especially with the August long weekend approaching. The organization says it normally needs up to 19,000 appointments a week to keep inventories stable, but has been falling short by as many as 2,000 appointments weekly. What's puzzling is there's no clear reason why. Every blood type is needed, with O negative remaining especially critical because it can be used in emergencies for almost any patient.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Julie joins us for a final look at the weather tonight. Julie.
Thank you. We've had some showers and thunderstorms rumbling through southern Ontario. This is in advance of a low pressure system that's dragging a cold front southward. The winds will be picking up tomorrow afternoon out of the north, 20 with gusts of 40, and that should scour out a lot of that humidity. Temperature-wise, 27 degrees in the afternoon, and we'll break into a nice mix of sun and cloud. The probability of showers on the very low end. Mainly sunny on Wednesday, sun-filled on Thursday. Daytime highs heading into your Friday, 29, so edging close to that 30-degree mark. Mainly cloudy on Saturday with a chance of nighttime rain. And the weekend will wrap up on the holiday with a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 29 degrees. Stefanie, back to you.
Okay, and finally tonight, a team of art experts is on a mission to root out fake copies of pieces created by a famed Canadian painter. Kamal Karamali has more on the process and the results so far.
It's a treasure trove of stunningly visual paintings, beautiful enough to be up on display, but instead tucked away in the basement of this small-town Ontario home.
What's the overall value of
all of this was once worth a lot of money.
Between $600,000 and $700,000.
Until they were all discovered to be fake.
That's one of the red flags.
Circulating around Canada's art scene, posing as authentic pieces painted by Norval Morrisseau. The artist known as the Picasso of the North died 2 decades ago, but since then thousands of forgeries have flooded the market, selling for millions. That is until Jonathan Zimanovich and his team stepped in.
Anytime we can take a fake painting off the market to help stabilize the market.
Removing more than 50 this year alone.
It's been pretty easy to tell with these specific types of paintings.
And there's certain telltale signs that these paintings are fake, like these lines being way too thick.
Morrisseau's black lines were not this thick. They were much more controlled.
While other signs are more obvious.
People we know who painted with him said he never did that.
But their work is just beginning.
We estimate that there are still somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 more fakes.
And that's where AI and new technology comes in. It's already able to spot fake paintings, finding tiny details not consistent with an artist's style.
There are certain colors, brush strokes, supports that characterize a painting.
But that same technology is also giving copycat painters the power and knowledge of any artist's style, so they can make exact replicas by hand.
It's not a question of will this happen. I absolutely am sure that it will happen if it's not already happening now.
For now, this Ontario-based art authentication firm choosing to do things the old-fashioned way.
The sales values of these paintings on the open market have gone down over 70%. A relief to you? That's a great relief to us.
With a lot more paintings to examine in excruciating detail. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Pelham, Ontario.
That's your news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. See you right back here tomorrow.